Hello, hello, hello.
Welcome everybody. Welcome back to Hit It Where It Hurts. Can we get a mic check real quick?
Everything's going good here. Vanessa?
Vanessa?
Yep, I'm all good. I'm
Alright.
all good.
Sweet.
So,
Alright, we are live.
so today we got DJ Nessa in the house. I don't know if you saw the DJing at the start, but that shit was going crazy, honestly. Like, I
That
was
one
here,
was
like,
actually lit.
I was jumping up and down in my chair, getting
Me
lit
too,
to
but my
it.
head was bouncing. That ass.
The topic of today is how to turn your dream into a passion. And DJ Nissa here has done just that. Did you want to tell us about yourself?
Yes, so I'm a DJ based in Melbourne, um, and basically I do private functions, and I've been doing a lot of live streams. So most of my following came from my live streams that I did over Facebook during the COVID period. Now, it's kind of a bit weird in this sense. This passion was not meant to come about into a business at all. I brought out my DJ equipment out of the dust and was just thinking of jumping on Gumtree and deciding to sell it and give it all up until, my family said, give it one last go and see how you go with it. So basically, I said to myself, all right, I'll give it a go. And I started, mucking around with the decks and trying to self-teach myself, the basics of how to beat match and beat mix and, put sets together and things like that. And it just, that's how it came about, basically, which is actually amazing. And I never regret, not giving it up.
Of
It's
course.
really changed my life at the moment.
Of
That's
course,
amazing.
and that's so inspiring to anyone who would have started something from before and kind of went away from it and then went back into it. And right now, that's where you were, right? Like that you were going at it and then you stopped it and now you're back. And we could see that the success that has actually come from trying again. So that's so inspiring to anyone. And what a beautiful way to start to say that it was never meant to be a business, because that's when someone says that, and when someone says it was never about the money but the money came, or it was never about the business but the business came, it's like it's so important because it shows how driven your work is into your business and into your passion, sorry, and your passion for music and your passion for DJing.
100%.
Yes,
Like,
yes, exactly.
yeah, like seeing it like that just makes me like very happy to see that, because when you get into something, you're not normally getting in it for the money, but you're getting in it for the love, and that's how you done it as well.
That's right.
Yes.
And we,
So oh yeah, so Mark, do you want to go?
yeah, go bro, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So the first question that everyone has, we have lots of aspiring musicians probably watching right now who are trying to get on the same path as you. So how did you really your first client or your first paid promotion of your music?
It was through a, a friend of my dad's who decided to introduce me to a contact of his.
Yep.
His name is Tony Walsh, and he's a mortgage broker, but he started Lesh FM for his love of music. So when I had found this contact, Tony had given me the chance to showcase, re-record my live stream mixes and put
Wow.
them onto an online station called Lesh FM. Okay, so his passion really relates to mine as well, which was amazing that us two like-minded people could really connect and get to know each other, and he could give me that chance as a stepping stone, being the youngest on the station, to launch her mixes on there. And in terms of the first client, it started from doing that, having my mixes played, building a fan base, and then after that I'd created a Facebook page. People had encouraged me, create a Facebook page, jump on and get your fan base going. So once I created that page and put all my details and put my video from that performance, who also led to Tony Walsh providing me that opportunity to perform on a $500,000 stage, basically.
Wow.
Um,
Wow. That sounds like an
yeah.
amazing opportunity.
And basically from that, people had seen that video and thought, she would be really good for, one of my private events. And the first event I got was an 18th birthday party. They were really surprised with what they saw. So that's how that came about.
That's insane. That's really awesome. To see that happening, like playing on a $500,000 like stage, that's like crazy. Like, hold
Yeah,
up.
the equipment is
yeah.
that was it's really just professional decks, professional lights, lasers. You got everything happening up there. So it was
I'd be.
really
Especially as an upcoming artist, like that opportunity would mean so much. So it sounds amazing to have that opportunity.
Yeah, it really was. It was on my birthday as well. So what a birthday present.
Even better.
Yeah.
No, it's like seeing such, like you said before, that this wasn't like you weren't thinking about it as a dream, and it just came out of nowhere, right? But it was your love for the like obviously you enjoy DJing, right?
Oh, of course, definitely. It gives
Yes.
me the biggest adrenaline rush playing music to a crowd. Of
Yeah.
course.
So it was like the
Yeah.
love, and that love turned into passion, and then that passion got driven, and you set it into a business. And
Yeah, certainly.
yeah, and like me and Mark always talk, we say always turn your passion, find what you're passionate about, find what you love doing, and find a way to turn that into a business. Because when you
That's
do
right.
that, you end up when you're working towards that, it doesn't feel like work. You
Yeah,
What?
true.
Yeah,
Very true.
and when you wake up in the morning, you're so happy, you just want to jump out of bed and go and do that. Is that right?
Yeah, you want to your product, the level of productivity in terms of this is you wake up, you prepare for the gig and you're just pumped. You've got that spirit and that attitude and you're waiting for that adrenaline rush. It's literally a natural high feeling, to go out there and to just be speaking to people and playing music and,
For sure.
jamming with them to your favorite song, to like their favorite songs and yours as well. So
Yeah.
it's enjoyable. Yeah.
And like just on that point, it's like you did it the right way. You know what I mean? Some people look into where there's money and they're like, all right, let's turn this into a passion. But for you, you turned it into that was your passion. That's like your heart. That's your work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you kind of put that, and then now finally people are finding value to your work, and your work is amazing. Like I have to add that.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah,
No worries.
it means the world. Like the support I've had, it just means the world because my passion was revived. Because when I got to the point where I was saying I was nearly going to give up, I'd picked up my DJ equipment during COVID. Thinking I didn't know what was going to happen, but I believe before that, previously, I was injured. I had a car accident. I was in a car accident. So to think that music could bring me happiness and help me control that lifetime trauma from that. I mean, I nearly died.
Oh,
So to me,
yeah.
it was a wake up call to say, what are you going to do with your life? You loved music so much, you left it. You used to sing, you left that. Maybe you can revive it by starting to DJ. Maybe it will make you happy, and it was a good escape for me as well. Just escaping bad flashbacks and things like that. Just the best escape.
Yeah,
Like you just lose yourself in it, and everything's fine all of a sudden. Which is amazing. Yeah.
that's crazy. Like to know
Of
that
course.
you jumped over hurdles to get to where you are now shows that, like, if as much as roadblocks come in your way, there's always a way around it, and there's always a way to get to to the end of the tunnel, right? There's always light at the end of the tunnel, and for you,
Yeah.
that's what it
That's
shows. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's right, and we also really appreciate that, like, you kind of go into that part of your life for us and for this podcast, because so many people will be facing grief, and to turn that grief into a passion, to turn that grief into motivation and ambition is so beautiful, and I think so many people can learn from that.
Yeah.
So,
You're very
yeah,
spot on there, Mark. Very spot on. Yeah.
yeah. So, now as a musician, right, the first thing that people struggle with, at least from people I know, is that you know, they have their music, they love it, and they actually truly believe it has value, but they don't have an audience yet. Were you at that stage where you were DJing to yourself or DJing to your family just to kind of see how the reaction was? How did that go for you?
Definitely. I was at that stage at one point. So before I got the opportunities I got from the Cube and things like that, I was doing live streams on Facebook. At the start, my viewership was not that high. Yep, but I was really enjoying it. Okay, and the first live that came about, believe it or not, was my sister who decided to secretly start filming me while I was practicing and said I was good enough. So, you know, she just decided to grab the phone and start filming me on live and, you know, say, yep, I want to show what my sister can do. You know, I hadn't even started mucking around with the equipment yet. But yeah, so she ended up doing that. I didn't realize, and I started getting a few viewers here and there, and they just really liked what I did, and they told me to keep going. And then from there, I guess I had to find myself as a DJ, like my style, like in terms of the higher viewership. When I got to that, I was doing, you know, I decided, why don't I try mixing, you know, really commercial house music, popular music with, you know, old disco samples, you know, old disco remixes from the 70s and 80s. And I got a big crowd. I got a bunch of clubbers from the 1990s who decided to jump on. A family friend of mine who I'm related to decided to share it, and they all jumped on, and I was pretty shocked. I was getting 3.3k views, and I was like, where are they all coming from? It was all a blur to me. I was just playing music, and I was really enjoying myself. The fact that I could share my passion with all those people, like, I was really stunned, you know. But my advice to someone who doesn't have who wouldn't have any viewers and they are playing to themselves is use that time to evaluate use that time to evaluate, you know, your skills and what you can do, and how you can build that and how you can relate that to what people like and how you can become, you know, who you want to become as an artist.
100%.
Of course, and you know, like, by the way, I'm so grateful that your sister actually started recording you, because if she didn't, we would have never knew about DJ Nessa, right? And
That's
you know,
totally true.
Shout out Tash.
like, yeah, shout out Tash, like, that's amazing. And you know, Mark, like, I think the number one thing that, you know, intrigued me and Mark about you, and the reason we actually got you on the podcast, is that we saw your passion was so real, but we also saw your personal branding thrive throughout social media. You know, when we had mentioned to people that we were getting DJ Nessa on, the amount of people that said, oh my God, no way, like, that's the girl from Facebook Lives or whatever, right? So clearly social media has played a big part, from just playing to your family to kind of playing to a wide range of people who have the same kind of like and love for the music that you do, right? So coming off that, how important do you think DJ Nessa as a personal branding is to your passion right now?
Oh, I feel like it's very important. It shows people who I am. It shows people, you know, the type of music I'm really into, like my main sound. If we're getting to, you know, like the environment, like the Cube, because that set was house disco based, basically, more my sound rather than, you know, your private functions where you're probably playing everything. So it's really important, and social media has allowed me to, you know, reach that wider audience, reach, you know, around the world, you know, talk to people from America, talk to people from Canada. You know, then after Facebook, I started doing lives on Mixcloud because there's no cutoffs, no interruptions, and I was getting a worldwide audience. So, in terms of social media branding, it's really important the way you brand your logo, the way you talk to your clients and your customers, and, you know, the way you can relate to them and what value you're going to give them. If someone says, oh, I want to book a function with DJ Nessa, what can she offer? You know, you have to be ready to, you know, look, they've seen your branding, they've seen what you can do. You have to be ready to step up and really have an answer for that. Do you know what I mean?
That's right, 100%.
You know, how are you different to if I book some other DJ? You know, for example, like, I don't use Spotify. I don't press the sync button when I DJ. You know, all my beat matching is from my oral musical ear, you know? So it's things like that. It's what the DJ is going to offer. You know, I'm happy to throw things in and give people the chance and give people that special something for their event. You know, talk to them about their playlists and specifically go through and, you know, just cater everything to what that person wants and make sure their experience is the best one.
Yeah,
Of course.
100%. And like we saw you talking about how your numbers blew up, like from nothing to 3.3k views, and you just kept on going from there. And like in this time, right? Social media is really important when it comes to all these things. And I just want to ask the question, like, how important is social media marketing when it comes to branding yourself as a DJ?
It's very, very important. It plays a big role because if you kind of have that reach where you can go on, say for instance, Instagram, and you bring out, you know, you record a new mix and you've got that reach, and then all those people are looking at it and they spread the word, and that's how you build your, you know, client base, your fan base. You become likable, you know, people begin to, you know who you are as a person, your personality. You know, your branding also tells, you know, people about your personality. What sort of person are you? What do you like? You know, are you very relatable? Are you approachable? You know, and I feel like I'm a people's person already. I'm so approachable. So having that reach and, you know, using social media to gain that platform, is, yeah, it's really good. It's
And
very important as well.
all those points you touched on, you know, like that's what me and Mark preach about, right? Like that personal branding, being able to storytell, being able to have people relate to you and the value you provide is so important to your marketing. But not only that, but to understanding your consumers and getting to know them on a deeper level. You know what I mean? And you know, from that, I just want to mention that, you know, DJ Nessa, the Italian disco queen, right? I didn't address you properly. I had to add that Italian disco queen. So I just want to question you, like, you know, linking your Italian heritage to your to, like, you know, your passion and your music. Was that a thing you did on purpose, or was that something that just came about because, you know, it sounded right to you? Because obviously we have heaps of Italian fan base for you, and, you know, like the amount of people that message are so excited to kind of hear from you because you're kind of representing that culture of like old Italian music. So tell us a little bit about that.
All right. Well, it was not something that came about on purpose, but it was my idea. So I spoke to my dad about it. My dad said, you know, the Italian community used to always have, they used to have Italian discos. They used to have them at the Abruzzo Club, the Veneto Club. They used to have all those events where, and he went to a few nightclubs where they used to, back then, where there was an Italian DJ who was a female. And he said, oh, I knew an Italian DJ who was a female. She played at one of the clubs and she was really good and everyone liked the way she played. You know, you're exactly like, you know, you could do that. And I said, oh yeah, it sounds like a good idea. But I guess during COVID, because no one could even get out of their house and go anywhere, you know, within these lockdowns, basically I thought about, you know, jumping on live and reaching out to the Italian community, playing the old school classic music that they really love, you know, touching on them, you know, giving that experience so they can go back to their memories of the old days when they used to go to those discos, you know, just bringing back those, you know, that happiness, you know, the happy pictures and things like that. And then also introducing the young people to the modern Italian music as well.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, like just that Italian culture is so strong with music. Like, I don't know if you saw, most likely you did, like all the Facebook videos of like the Italians on their balconies when they were all in lockdown and they were all singing, and like it's just such a beautiful culture in terms of like how they connect with music. And I think you hit it right on the nail with your music, and because you did it, because that's like that's you, right? Like that's you as a person. People really connected with that, and to have it at such a horrible time during lockdown, especially what's happening in Italy right now and everything, it was a place that, like, you know, people really needed to hear. So I'm sure the Italian culture loves you for that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I got a few on. I mean, I had someone that got someone on. One of the viewers was the winner of the Italian Voice. So,
Wow.
you know,
Yeah.
I even
Yeah.
reached Italy themselves. So, you know,
That's insane.
Yeah.
it didn't come just too close to home. It was, you know, worldwide as well. Once again, you know, players from the Juventus soccer team. So,
Oh.
you know, I was shocked by that. I was acting like a stupid idiot. I was just, dancing around like, I'm proud of my Italian culture. So
That's
I
it.
was yelling out Italian words and I was jumping up and down and, I was just being me. No one's ever seen that side of me. They've always seen, the smart nerdy side. They haven't seen the fun side come out, which is good.
That's crazy. That's awesome. And like, as a DJ, right? What do you
Yeah.
do? You mostly appeal to the Italian culture, or are you like more modernized, a bit like the hip hop, R&B kind of culture as well?
I feel that I appeal to both. I feel that I do appeal to the Italian culture a lot because of my Italian heritage, my background, what I know and how relatable I am. But also on the other hand, you've got people that, I play house and disco, so I feel like I appeal to those people who like that music as well because they see me as someone who stands out from how some people say the sheep, you know what I mean? Like
Of
you
course.
you can listen to a DJ and they play the same music, they play the same thing, it's the same vibe, and you don't get
Literally.
anything from it, you know?
Literally. Yeah. I feel the exact same way. And going off that, like right now, like you probably have some new viewers from our side, who are just finding out about DJ Nessa now, and we want to know like what does the future hold for DJ Nessa mix-ups? Are we getting like the modernized stuff? Like for me, like I want to hear like Eminem, The Weekend mixes. Mark, what do you want to hear?
Bro, I want to hear the little baby, the baby, all the babies,
That's
bro.
it. Like what can we expect in the future?
Oh wow. Well, there's there's a lot, in the works. Like I can't say much, but I can say a little bit. I'm currently working on an old school R&B mix, like taking people back to the days where you're cruising in your convertible, listening, pumping up, Tupac and pumping up,
Oh,
all those amazing old school tracks that really bring back the vibes. I did a vote on Instagram. That's what people voted for. So
that's
the
fire.
viewers spoke to me and told me that they want old school R&B. So we'll see how we go. I mean, in terms of what's going to happen in the future, um, I'm thinking of getting into producing my own stuff and showing people DJ Nessa as an artist. Not just a DJ, but someone who can give that creative flow and release tracks.
Mhm.
Of course.
Maybe get them on the radio. I don't know about that. But even to whip up mashups and try and improve on social media, like get more TikToks happening, maybe get more people who
Yeah, of
can
course.
relate to me and things like that. So get some mashups out, play some mashups to play at my future gigs. Have people give their say on that. More mixes, of course, definitely in lockdown. I'll probably be busy doing that. I'm sorting my music collection at the moment, so it doesn't get more better than that. Making sure I've got everything right, and maybe hopefully some more live streams. We'll see how we go.
Yeah, of course. And like, like you told us off camera that, you used to sing as well. And like, I just had to say it on camera because I want to let you know that probably your whole fan base wants to hear your singing incorporated with your music as well. Because like, you say that like, you don't know if your music will ever end up on the radio, but you have to dream big like that. You know what I mean? Like you have to have those ambitions because right now when I see your music, I could see it being the type of shit that I would listen to like in the car on the radio. And the fact you hear R&B, I'm telling you, everyone's bumping their heads right now. Like that's what everyone loves, right? The old school R&B, the
Yeah.
Usher, Chris Brown, Tupac, like that's the shit everyone loves. So now to like come into, that question of adapting your style, how important do you think it is right now? Obviously we could find that you care about your consumers because you obviously did a vote on the next type of music that you want to get into, right? So how important do you think it is to adapt what value you're providing to the consumers that you have?
I think it's very crucial and very important because your viewers are the ones watching you. I mean, if you try and, you can try things and you can play around with things, but if they're not happy with and they're not relating to it, that's where you're going to lose your viewership, you know what I mean? And if you've got a good connection with, those viewers, you want to keep that tight, you know what I mean? You want to see what they want as well, and sometimes giving them that choice, to challenge you even. I'm the type that plays the house disco stuff a lot. That's where I stay. That's my main sound. But before DJing, I was jamming to R&B in my car. So, I'd love to do, have an R&B mix done and have it up there for people to listen to and see my take on, mixing R&B. So viewers are just very important. Sometimes you have to listen to them. Sometimes a lot of people can be selfish and they're like, oh, I want to do this. And then, you don't know what their take is on it. But if it's coming from the viewers, I'm sure they're going to like it. So,
Yeah, definitely. Like you gotta make sure like you're giving up your because
That's right. That's
when
right. And like they're voting, right? Like they're telling you. Oh, go on,
yeah,
Mike.
I was saying like because your followers they're following you for you. They're following you because they're getting value from you, and so listening to them, that's what keeps them following you. That's what keeps them interested in what you're doing, and you're doing it like right on.
of course.
That's right. That's right. So now that like you've kind of gone through this phase of understanding your consumers and how you can adapt. Are you always going to be the adaptive type, or is there going to be a time where you're going to stick to what has kept you comfortable? Because we've spoken a lot about sacrifice and understanding of the market and that type of thing. Do you feel like you're someone who's going to sacrifice for your consumers, or do you feel like you're someone who's going to chase what you feel is right and just do that?
Look, I feel like you have to kind of meet, you have to meet in the middle with this one. I want to be the type to adapt, but I also want to be the type to jump out of my comfort zone and, see what else, DJ Nessa is capable of. What else DJ Nessa can offer as an artist, as a potential producer, as someone who could be, writing her own tracks with production software, someone creating mashups, just exploring everything, like just putting yourself out there. I mean, you can be comfortable in one genre and that's fine as long as people know that's what you specialize in. But if people ever ask you to go out of your comfort zone, it's a good way to, take an adventure, take a trip, do something different and see what your viewers' take is on it, see what reaction you get from that.
Yeah, definitely, and like you're spot on. Seeing that DJing is not like happening now in person anymore because lockdown and all that stuff. How do you think this affected your hustle like in any way?
Yes, I can say that it has affected it in a massive way, because DJing, the nature of being a disc jockey or a DJ is going out there and connecting with your crowd. Now, online, you can connect with many people, but you're connecting through a screen.
Yeah.
So when you are doing a gig live, you can feel the aura, you can feel it in the room, you can, you're getting that adrenaline rush, you're having to go there, set up the equipment and manually do everything. The good thing about online is not having to set up, massive, equipment and get it all, set up and worry about it when you've got it already there. But the fact that the nature of DJing is to really be out there and connect with people, it's hard online because you don't know what people are feeling. You don't know how people are. You know what their reaction's going to be. So the lockdown has affected me massively. I lost most of my work. I had a lot of opportunities come up, corporate gigs. I had weddings come up. I had engagements come up. Like I was overwhelmed with bookings. I couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
But now those bookings are no more. There are a few more if, see what happens, I guess there's a lot of uncertainty now. So people are booking with you and you're taking money and they're like, oh, I don't know if we can lock down, what's going to happen. But I'm always reassuring them, like, if you've ever paid me something, you're going to 100% get that back if you need it. I'm not going to take it. So, I'm there for my clients and trying and help them out as well. So, everyone's lost work massively. So in the entertainment industry, I guess we've just been trying to support each other. So if there was no lockdown, well, this would be a hell of a lot easier to hustle, I tell you what. But as I said, with DJing, hustling doesn't stop at, just gigs. You don't just go out and do gigs. You put out mixes, you put out mashups, you you communicate with, people online on how people are feeling. You reach out to people. So, for me, that's hustling in a different way.
Yeah, and like
That's right. And
we was we were speaking with I don't know if you saw one of the last episode with Damo Lay. We were talking
Yeah, I
about
think I did.
we were talking about how people should take advantage of this time to work on their business from a place where they can. And like as we can see that you've been doing that exactly, like doing mashups and going lives and doing all that stuff. And yeah, no, that's what it's all
Yeah,
about.
connecting with fans on Instagram, even just jumping on Instagram live and having a chat, just
Yeah,
having a friendly chat, telling your fans you're still all good, everything's good, what's coming up, what you're going to do. And if you kind of amp up and give them that anticipation, then they want to keep going along on the ride. You know what I mean?
definitely.
of course. And you touched on some really important points. I think when you were talking about the lockdown and how it affected your work, and then you continued to talk about how you're still gonna hustle, still gonna find your ways to grind, like that's motivation, right? Even for me, and I'm not even a musician, right? Because there'd be so many people who have been affected in ways that like we can't even imagine, right? Like we talk on it a lot, but we can't see it until we've actually seen it. You know what I mean? When people lost their job, can't afford to put food on the table, and they're trying to find that place, that ambition in them to grind for doing what they love, and the fact that you kind of have gone through this point of transitioning from doing all these live gigs where you would have been completely comfortable into doing these live shows, right, on Facebook for everyone around the world to watch. It just shows how adaptive you are, and you shouldn't even be worried about the value that you're missing through the gigs that you can't go to, because it's all going to catch up, and the fact that you're constantly adapting your value, it'll pay out in the end, you know what I mean? And that the ROI will be other people's happiness through your music.
Yes, you're definitely spot on there, Mark. Yep, of course. And you just gotta, with everything, it's with anything you do, even if you're working a normal job, you just gotta find your way. Like sometimes things might become tough, but you might be, as I said at the start, about to give up. But my message is, why should you give up? Give something one last go. Like, test the water and see how you go. I mean, if you give up and you never did what you wanted to do, you'll just be like in like 5 or 6 years time, be like, I really could have done that and now I regret it. Like, do you want to have that regret, or do you want to have that, feeling in you that you're like, oh, I've achieved something. It's really successful for me now. I didn't believe it could be, like when people
Yeah.
say they can't do something, it's not that you can't, it's that how you're going to do it, and, all the planning that goes into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for sure, and like fear of comfortability or fear of not making it should be more of a fear to people than the fear of losing or the fear of failing.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So it's a big difference, and it's all about perspective, and the way you look at it is what pushed you this far. Now, you know, to kind of put everything aside and look at it from a practical sense, right now, is DJing your full-time job? And do you plan on making it your full-time job, or is this just going to be your side hustle for the rest of your life?
At the moment, DJing has been my full-time job previous before these lockdowns. I was doing my own work, and I was also working for someone as well. I was working for Fedora DJs, and I was getting work through him as well. So he was a really good mentor to take me through this, someone who'd never done gigs as well. And then, the fact that then you're going out and getting your own work, it's really good as well. But I was planning to make it a full-time thing, but in terms of that, still having a think about what it will become, seeing where it's going to go. Um, I have a certificate in cybersecurity, so on the other hand, I'm a big IT nerd. you know, I'm hoping to
Yeah,
get a
of
job
course.
in that,
Yeah.
but also, DJing will always be there with me on that career journey. Like, it'll never leave me. Whether I get a job in the cyber industry as a 9 to 5, and do my hustle on the weekends, and still put out things and whatever, and then if that doesn't work, do DJing, build up my own entertainment company and start recruiting my own DJs, and going through that planning process of a bigger business idea. um,
Yeah.
then that's it. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see where it goes. I mean, not giving this one up too soon. That's all I know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
seeing that,
Yeah.
it's crazy motivation for everyone out there. Like you didn't just start doing things like your own thing now. Like you're working for people, like you said, right? But you want to start your own thing later in the future. And for people that are watching right now and don't know like where to start, right? If you're a musician or wherever you are, it doesn't. You don't have to start your own thing. You can start working for people. You can start learning everything about the thing that you're doing, and then start thinking big and planning and setting small goals to get you to achieve that bigger picture.
Of course, my biggest advice is that if you're currently a hobby musician, what some may call it, like at home, and you're not doing much, and you really think you got a talent, whether it's playing an instrument or it's singing, or it's DJing or it's producing. The biggest thing I would say to those people is get your stuff out there. Nothing to lose. If you're making any mistakes, it doesn't matter. People may look at it, and look, social media is a worldwide, wave of constructive criticism and sometimes hating. But
Mm.
you know what? If you don't get it out there, you'll never know, and you'll never know, I guess, what you're going to be capable of. So anyone who's got mixes, or you want to do singing covers, pop them on YouTube, pop them on the internet. Just main thing is to get your stuff out there so people have something to look at, so you can start building that fan base, basically.
100%, 100%. And like turning that idea of your passion into a business, like there has to be an end goal for you. Like for me, I see DJ Nessa traveling the world, like Teddy Cream, our next guest. Like how does that is that something that's in reach for you, or is this something that you only ever do as a hobby? Because honestly, me and Mark, we could see that in the future.
100%.
Look, I say to people, like some people say, well, don't dream big, but I say, the opposite. Dream big, because you never know. You never know where something takes you, and I'm hoping it can become touring the world.
Right.
100%.
I've already got contacts with people overseas. Like I know one DJ from America who's like a mentor to me, and he opens for DJs.
That's insane. Yeah.
He opens for people like Tiesto and all those artists out there already, and
I
he's
love
telling me how
Tiesto.
great
Look
it
at that.
is. He's
I
even met,
love Tiesto.
even met Avicii, so I'm honored to actually be speaking to him as well, and we found each other on Mixcloud, so he gives me tips, and it's good to get tips from older DJs. I've got many contacts. I know John Course, I know Mark Pellegrini. I'm very close with him as well. So through the Cube, I met most people in the industry. That they're just really supportive of me, and they can't believe how quick I've gotten the knack for this talent. How quick I've learnt this. I'm self-taught, no DJ school, no, anyone telling me. It's all me. So
That's awesome. And along that
yeah,
topic, right? We've seen that
That's right, and that's like so inspiring for
you
anyone else.
yeah, and like we've seen that you've sacrificed and taken risks to do that. And so, like taking it back on passion, and in terms of sacrifice and risk, where, how much sacrifice and risk did you take to get to the point you are today? Because a lot of people like just think getting to a point in life where like you're like, say for example, now you're getting all these gigs, you're getting all these, like you're meeting all these people, right? People think
yeah.
sometimes that's luck, but for me, I say it's sacrifice and risk, and I want you to go on about that.
Yeah, so in terms of the sacrifice and risk, I mean, I feel like I've sacrificed a lot in terms of money. So most of my hard-earned money went to buying DJ equipment and all the equipment I use for my gigs.
Yeah,
So basically, that's a sacrifice for me. I mean, trying to take it out and getting my own work. That's been a risk, because you don't know whether that's going to work out. I mean,
Of
I've
course.
been lucky. I've had many people help me along the way. So as I mentioned before, Tony Walsh from Lesh FM, The other one that ran the Cube actually owns Concert Audio and Visual. That one's based in Maidstone. Joe Sofo, he's a DJ himself as well, so he's one really good DJ as well, and he gave me a few tips on how to do it as well. And a lot of those people in the industry, you know, Bruce Edmonds Jr., MC Jr., he's really been encouraging me, and having that encouragement, it just encourages you to take risks, to push yourself, and just take those risks and not look back, basically.
That's awesome.
You know, that's right. And like, you know, we talk about this on the podcast so much. Just to see it in action from someone so close to us that we know has taken those risks. Like you said, you bought that DJ equipment. You didn't know you were going to get the gigs at the time you bought it, right? Like, that's where most people, they stop. They get scared. They're like, do I really want to invest $700 into this idea? But little did they know it was $1 million idea, right? So, like, you know, to take that step, like, you need to be commended for it. And everyone watching needs to understand that that first step is what starts it all, right?
Yeah.
You know, but in terms... like going further than monetary, like in terms of time, in terms of, you know, it takes a lot of mental pressure to kind of put yourself on the spot, even doing this podcast, right? Like to kind of put yourself out there, explain your story. So like, you know, what would you tell people in terms of sacrificing their time, sacrificing their mental fortitude, that type of thing, to achieve their goals?
I guess the only person that is stopping you from doing anything is yourself. So if you want to go out there and do something, it's not a matter of, you know, I let a lot of people, you know, before dictate what I was doing in my life, what career I was going, you know, where I was going with my life. And I felt like I wasn't living my life with any passion at all. So, you know, when I kind of took that out and I said, well, what does Vanessa want? What does she really want? Do you know what I mean? Like, what is it that she really wants? Like, what can she do? And I found it, and I said to myself, well, this is what I really want, and, you know, I don't care what risks I have to take to get it. It does put a lot of mental pressure because, you know, you're there hustling, you're trying to put your brand out, you don't know how it's going to work out, you don't know if it will work out, you don't know if people will like you, you don't know if people, you know, will hate on you, you don't know if, you know, there'll be things going around about you. You know, you don't know if people come on your live and tell you that, you know, you can't mix, or, you know, you still have a lot of learning to do, you know, because of jealousy. So I've fought all that, and I've said to those people, well, I'm not wasting my breath on you because it's, you know, it's me that is only stopping me. If I stop this, then it's my fault, you know, no one's going to care. You know, I'm not here to make others happy. I'm here to make myself happy. You know, and provide value by making others happy in other ways.
I love that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Because even like when it comes to like Zorus Media with me and Mark, when I miss a day of posting, when I miss a day of like not editing a video, I tell myself like I don't use excuses like, oh, I'm procrastinating because I got uni or my family or this that. I'll put it on myself. So then the next time I know that I'm not gonna miss a day. I'm gonna keep going and hustling.
That's
Of course.
right. That's
And
right.
I tell myself that every day. Like, I mean, there's been days in lockdown where I've been so lazy and I'm like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do this, and then you blame other people, and then you're like, no, it's you. You say you're gonna do it, then you need to do it. You need to not stop. You're stopping yourself. You know. Like with exercise, for example, someone says, I want to go for a walk, and they don't go, then that's their problem, not yours. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know, I don't make a mix. I say I'm going to make a mix and I don't get on the decks, then that's me. That's me that's doing that. You know, and I feel like another really good quote is time is money. And I feel like it's not monetary thing. Time is money in terms of value and how much you value your business over anything else. You know, what are you going to prioritize?
That's a really good point.
And I love...
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love how you said, like, you know, the only thing that stops you... I'm cutting out, right?
Yeah.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
sorry. You know, I love how you said the only thing stopping you from doing something is you. Everyone needs to hear that. I need to hear that. You know, everyone does, right? Every now and again. Did you ever set yourself a time frame when you were going through a rough patch of not too much engagement, or, you know, not I cut out again. Not too much like kind of, you know, reach or whatever. Did you ever go through that rough patch, and what kind of got you to focus back up and kind of push through it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people, people who know me will say that I'm a very harsh critic. Okay. I'm like, when there's a CEO of a business that wants to achieve so much and it doesn't happen, they just flip it and hit the fan. That's probably me as well. And when you're so driven and you do everything and you get to that rough patch, it's hard. It becomes really hard because you start questioning what you're doing. You really start questioning it a lot. And you have to start
Yep.
thinking about, is it the right thing to do? You've got the voices in your head talking and you're like, you know what? No, I need to push through, like this lockdown, like many people I know are having a tough time. It's so hard. And I know many people say it's hard to push through. You just got to push through. You just got to do what you can. I mean, when I didn't have much engagement and whatever, I was looking up ways on how I could increase it. I was doing things to increase it, like Tony from Lesh FM telling me, get your mixes out. You know how to mix. You got really good taste in songs. Get your mixes out. People need to get to know who you are, and there needs to be something for people to look at to get to know who you are as well. So getting through that rough patch, yeah, it's very tough, but you got to. For me, it's just about finding ways.
Yeah, 100%. And going back to where you said time is money, I saw an awesome video one time, and he said if you had $86,000, if you were given that in a day, would you use that wisely or waste it? Because in a day we have 86,000 seconds, and if we're wasting that, it's literally like we're wasting money. And you were right on that. And I
Of
think,
course, there's so much time in a day. There's like, 24 hours in a day. And if, you know, you're wasting that time and you're not using it, to benefit you and you're not getting things done. And as I said, once again, the only thing stopping you is yourself. No one else can believe in you but yourself first. If you don't fix yourself first, then no one else can. So,
yeah,
once you believe in yourself, other people can start to believe in you.
100%.
And then
Of,
you can start using that time wisely. And then that's where you get your high productivity. You're actually getting things done and your business is, not a waste of time.
of course, of course. And, you know, like music is a very competitive industry. I'm sure you know, right? Like when you put something
Yeah,
out,
definitely.
you're trying to get on the charts straight away, right? So for you, and after this, I'll just get to some of the questions in the comments. For you, how do you put a value on your work, right? I feel like people need to understand how to put value to the things they do. Sometimes they'll say, I have no qualifications, so I'm not valuable. But I think time is the most valuable qualification you have. So how do you put a value to yourself, and how do you
How do I put a value to myself?
recommend other people to?
Um, Basically, when I'm working on something, I try and use my creative flow, basically. Music has no rules, okay? People tell you something needs to be in key. Well, not necessarily. I've heard songs that are out of key and, they've been produced and they do a pretty well done job. But, this music has no rules. It's all about being creative. I'm quite creative myself. So putting a value on something is, making sure I'm coming up with my ideas. I'm not coming up with cliches. It's not the same as what's on the market. There's more of a niche there. It's not exactly the same. And my advice to people would be, value your own ideas. Don't worry about what other people are doing so much. Worry about what you can do. What can you bring to the table? What's different about your work? What is so iconic about your work and what stands out?
100%, 100%. And just we'll take some questions from the viewers. So if you have any questions, ask them right away. Rudy Huzri here asked, how important was your parents' support?
Nice last name, by the way. Anyway, sorry, continue.
It was very important. I feel like that's what gave me the push. My family is, my biggest number one support. They're always there for me, and they've never said, anything wrong. We've argued over it, trust me, but once I've explained to them how it's all going to work and what my plan is, and I've executed that, and they've been fine with it. My dad was the most supportive. My dad was the one that, been taking me out to buy all the equipment, trying to, get me on the road with, doing the gigs, trying to give me ideas on what to do, getting his own family involved in it, getting his cousins involved in it. So building my support base, and always also telling me that I'm good at what I do. I've got talent, he believes in me as well. What I said is that you've got to believe in yourself first. And I believed in myself, and he believed in me as well. So, we make a great team. My mum's on board with it 100%. And yeah, their support is really important to me, and they're happy with what I do.
That's awesome. And talking about support, like, I don't know if you see those memes when it comes to the NBA draft. Every time like an NBA player gets drafted, there's like always those memes where they say, "Oh, now his dad is gonna come back with the milk." And yeah, like talking about support is awesome, and like having that family behind you and supporting you just gives you more motivation to show them that you can do it, and you can like prove prove to them that they supported you, and now it's your turn to show them what you can do.
Well, my sister was the start of that.
Yeah, like, of course. Me and Mark can relate, right? Like, we're both in that same position where we're arguing with our parents about our dream, but they're so passionate, like, and everyone will go through it. When they come out with an outlandish idea, their parents will be like, "Bro, go home, go do the uni or something," right? But it's because, like, we see it because they love us, and then once they see us, they see our passion in it, that argument turns into, like, love. Like, we love what you're doing, we really appreciate that you're following your dreams. And I think people really need to have that conversation with their parents. And I feel like all three of us are on that same stage where our parents are really supportive right now. They know what the traditional way is, and they understand we're taking it a different way.
Yeah, 100%. And
you're 100% there.
Is Dash still supporting you till this day?
Yes, all the way actually. I mean, his plan is that once, this is all over, for me to really keep pushing.
Nice.
Pushing, getting most of my own work, building that fan base, having most of my own work, being out there and, dealing with all the clients myself, trying out different things, doing different events, getting, different opportunities. So he's really on board with all that.
That's great.
Of course. And, we've been live for a little bit. We don't want to take time away from your producing because we want to hear the hot R&B mixes that are coming out soon. So to kind of wrap up now, and I know I've asked for a lot of advice on behalf of people aspiring in the comments, but for any dream, not only musician, what is your number one advice for anyone chasing their dreams and taking risks and sacrifices?
Number one advice, just get out there, just put it out there, as long as you've got a bit of planning, put things out there, get things out there, whether it's an artist or a musician or whoever it is, just really put yourself out there a lot. That's basically my advice.
That's awesome. It's all about that, like,
That's
putting
exactly
yourself
right. And like, do you think? And I can't. Oh yeah, go for it, Mark.
Yeah, like putting yourself in the deep end, like it's amazing. And for the viewers that see like where Bucket's in, his internet's been cutting off, so sometimes he doesn't hear us. Yeah.
I'm not cutting out anyone, I promise. It's just my internet.
No, that's all right. So before I wanted to finish saying that basically the number one advice I would actually give as well is basically never give up. So I'm actually proof that, something that was going to be given up turned into, something bigger, and I don't regret it. So anyone out there, if you have something that you really want to do, never give up. Just keep pushing. That's all you can do.
100%.
Just like you guys,
Yeah.
I'm proud of what you've done as well. So, the message is that things can be tough, people can push you to the edge, but just never give up, always believe in yourself.
Definitely.
Thank you so much. And to hear that from you, who's literally executing it every single day, inspiring everyone. It honestly means a lot for me and Mark. So thank you so much, and thank you, you know, for coming on to the podcast and being a guest and providing so much value. Um,
It's been a
yeah, sorry,
pleasure.
my
Thank you
internet's
so
cutting
much.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear.
Oh, you can. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So let's just wrap it up. Mark, do you have anything final to say?
Honestly, just thank you for everything. Thank you for the value you've given everyone. I know everyone's been like watching till the last minutes because you've provided that much value. And we again thank you for like saying how we've been doing lately. And yeah, we just appreciate you being on here.
Yeah, no, I'm your number one support, and I'll always be there, and keep at it with what you're doing. And it's been a pleasure having a chat with you, and you're getting to know a bit about what I've created. So I'm really, yeah, I'm happy.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. My mic might cut out while I do this, but just want to say massive thank you to all the viewers. This has been such a big episode of Hit It Where It Hurts. We love having amazing guests like DJ Vanessa on. If you haven't seen already, in the chat is her socials. Her IG is at DJ Vanessa. I'm just going to say it again, at DJ Vanessa, and all of her links are in her bio, so make sure you go check her out, support her, support the hot R&B mixes coming out soon, because I know I will. And yeah, let's end this podcast special. I want everyone to say one word that's very inspiring for everyone watching, starting with me, and that's sacrifice.
For me, it's
Vanessa? Oh, sorry,
All
Mark.
right, here we go.
right.
Time.
And for me, it's dedication.
Thank
All
you so much, guys. Take care. Thank you so much for watching.